What up, crew? I'm Keith. Welcome to Charged Up and 2.5 years of the Rivian R1T. I love this thing. Hit like and subscribe and hit that bell icon, y'all, so you get a lot more videos from us. God, this thing is fantastic. Welcome back to Charged Up, everybody, and I'm here to tell you about the Rivian R1T after 2.5 years of ownership of this absolutely delightful machine. And let's start with the design. It looks great. This is not going to be mistaken for anything else on the road. You see it, you know what you're looking at. I love the blue. This is my wife's request. She's always wanted a blue truck, and this is absolutely perfect for it. We did get the all-season tires, which was, in my estimation, the best decision because you have a huge range hit when you get the all-road tires, the off-road tires, and that really does knock you back. Whereas these all-seasons, you do get 340 miles of range every single time. It's really good about that, and that's been one important thing for us for road tripping. Overall, practicality is fantastic. I'll get into details there too, but the real thing is that this is a fantastic machine. There really is none better on the road, in my opinion, for an electric truck or just for a truck, period. So if you're in the market, you need to really give this a close look, and we've got a lot of great details in this video for you. So let's talk performance. I don't know how they did it, but this handles like a sports car. How? Well, I'll tell you, an amazingly well set up suspension and really good brakes and really good regen. I don't use the brakes that often, even when driving hard. I have to say, because it's so well balanced, that this vehicle overall stays extremely neutral. You can go ripping through a turn and manage to not end in understeer. You actually stay very neutral the whole way, which is really kind of shocking for what this is. And so the end result is you get a vehicle that's very predictable, very easy to drive at the limit, and honestly a lot of fun. You're not wondering what it will do. I mean, that's the problem with other cars and with a lot of vehicles is you don't know what they're going to do. You're not aware of how it's going to react to an input, or it's at least not something that you can easily understand or predict. This stays very neutral, very predictable, very easy to understand, and as a result makes you feel very confident. You end up driving this and not wondering what's going to happen, and instead being able to understand the effect of your actions on the vehicle's dynamics as you go. And that makes you feel like you can do far more than you would in another vehicle. Even dedicated sports cars don't handle like this. And so this ends up being really enjoyable. And that goes along with our first road trip in this, where we spent 14 hours in this vehicle on the very first few days that we had it, driving from the Bay Area to Portland to go house hunting. And I ended up not fatigued. I ended up actually really enjoying that trip and not tired at all, which is odd. I mean, 14 hours in a vehicle going from sunny and warm to cold, wet, rainy, and dark, it's going to take a lot of anyone, yet it wasn't an issue. And in fact, driving this made me feel so much more confident, so much more connected to the road in a way that a lot of their vehicles just can't match, which really honestly shocked me to a great deal. And so when we think about performance, there's a couple other things that come into it. I mean, of course, there's acceleration. Like, this has acceleration like nothing, you know, on the road for a truck at least. Outside of like the new quad motor, which does go like stink. This does really, really well and manages to keep from overloading its tires. It manages to stay solid the whole way as you accelerate. When you do think of acceleration in this though, there's one caveat to it. And that is that the accelerator pedal on this is very deep. So for comparison, I have a Lucid Air Grand Touring, 800 horsepower, goes like a bat out of hell. Absolutely love that thing. It has the world's most perfect accelerator pedal outside of the Lucid Gravity, which I think actually is now slightly better. This accelerator pedal, it's deep. It goes a long ways. You want to reach for power, you really have to reach for power in this. The end result is that you have a lot more travel to hit a certain range. It's a bit less optimal because I'm constantly trying to figure out like, oh gee, what am I going to do with this? You have to go a lot further for it. It's good. It does give you maybe a little bit more modulation in the throttle, but at the same time, I think because it goes for so long, you have to push so far to get the maximum power out of it, that one thing I wish that they would learn from Lucid or Porsche, for example, is that a shorter accelerator pedal distance, but with a greater sensitivity and a proper modulation, can be really beneficial, can actually make you feel a lot more confident in the vehicle and provide a much greater opportunity for enjoyment, and also be very, very safe. And I don't know if this long throw was what the decision was behind the long distance in the pedal, but I do think it does detract a bit from the driving experience. So there's two other things I want to note as well. One of them is the tires. So we got the all-season tires, which I think are the pick of the range because it gives you a lot more flexibility and it gives you the most range out of all of them, and you're going to really want the range. The off-road tires, they knock a lot off of the range, and I think it's all well and good to think, oh, I'm going to go off-road a lot. The reality is you're probably not going to, and that's probably going to be both a waste of money and a lot of lost energy. So stick with the all-season tires. I would say this, though, about the all-season tires. The ones when we got them were not the best in the rain. They're good. They're not great. They have a little bit of trouble with ponding on roadways that you should be aware of. So it does mean be mindful of that. That said, it's still fine 99% of the time. Don't go blasting through a massive puddle at 75 miles an hour in the all seasons. You have some common sense. It's about the only issue with them. The other thing I'd note too is overtaking, like on highways, if you need to get around somebody, this absolutely does have it, even in all-purpose mode. And in fact, we've never felt the need to switch to sport mode to get past someone. Yeah, we've never done that. It's never been necessary. Driving this, all-purpose will suit you almost every single time. You put it in sport mode when you want to go ripping somewhere, but all-purpose will do almost everything you want and do it really comfortably. Because they'll say that right now I'm in sport mode, and it does have a little bit of jitteriness. It's not like it's bad or anything, it's just that you definitely feel like what you're dealing with. It does not soak up bumps nearly as well, but it does do really well with it. But there's definitely a little bit of stability, which you're probably catching through the camera right now. However, all-purpose, let's just go ahead and flip to all-purpose now. All-purpose does a great job. It's still very comfortable, it's still got a lot of performance, and it manages to soak up a lot more bumps and a lot more imperfections in the road in ways that are really hard to do in the sport mode. One other thing too I would note about the suspension is that there are some things it doesn't do well with. If you want to go across a grade crossing or a speed bump on a bias at an angle, this does not like that. There is a grade crossing in Milwaukee, outside Portland here, that's a bit raised, and you have to go over at an angle on this street, and oh my God, this truck hates that. It goes bump, 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 and goes right over that and just can't handle it. It's got, if it could strangle me in frustration, I think this thing would. It hates that grade crossing. Whereas the Lucid does not even notice it. A sedan does not even care about that, but it upsets this. I think that's one of my few gripes with the suspension on this, is that it just has some issues with certain types of contact at angles that it really struggles to handle. So done talking now about performance, and it comes down to reliability. How has this been? Honestly, really, really good. It's had very few issues. We've only had one real problem, and that is one time the left front damper went out. The suspension, the airbag, went out on this. And the problem was not necessarily that, because it still drove, it just went all the way down. It's that the software, the car, couldn't even tell that that was the issue. It kept telling me air compressor overheated, suspension on lowest setting. I'm like, is there a problem with the air compressor? What's going on? It wouldn't raise the vehicle up, and we were bouncing around, hitting the bump stops. I'm like, why are we slammed? Well, it turned out that the left front airbag wouldn't inflate because it burst or something happened to it. And the car was sitting there trying to inflate it. So the diagnostic ability was actually the biggest issue, not that problem. To Rivian's credit, I went ahead, let them know the problem I was having. I'm like, hey, the car suspension won't go up. It's stuck on lowest and says compressor's overheating. They towed it the same day, and in 2 days they had it fixed. And that's with the Tualatin and Portland centers here, which are honestly pretty slammed. There's a lot of Rivians in this area. They took care of it like that. It was impressive as hell. I really loved the service. They did great for us. They got us a loaner while it was in, and I was impressed. They did fantastic, and they were on top of it. But that's the only real issue that we've had with this, which I'm pleasantly surprised by. In a first vehicle from a novice automaker, like a startup automaker, that's pretty good. 29,000 miles with only one thing. Impressive. So let's talk range and charging for a minute. So range and charging in this, it's good. 340 miles of range in this. I mean, it's really good. Now you got to go in eco mode, but when they say 340 miles, they mean 340 miles. You put it in eco mode and you drive in this, you are getting every last mile out of it. And for all of my gripes about the sat nav in this, it is insanely accurate for your ETA and for your range on arrival. So this does a great job. One trip I did, I went from Portland all the way over to Maupin on the east side of the Cascades to go fishing on the Deschutes River one day. And it said you can get there, you can get back, you will have exactly 69 miles of range afterwards. And it did. It was perfect. So as far as range and calculating that with the sat nav, does a fantastic job. So for charging, we're going to post our charging video relatively soon, but let me put it this way, it does well. It does well. We do have Supercharger access now, which is nice. I've gone ahead and used it a few times. You kind of have to shoehorn yourself into a Supercharger spot, which is not the best, but at the same time, it works and it's a good option. But it's also not the fastest charger. The Lucid that I've got charges insanely quickly. Other vehicles charge super fast. Hyundai's charge faster than this. But despite not being the fastest, it's still got a really good charging curve. And in the end, practically, you're really not hurting for charge. In the end, you're not going to spend much more time at a charger, maybe 10 minutes. So it doesn't really affect you that much. The charging speed on this is not really an issue because it's a reliably good charger. And also Rivian recently added to the software the ability to manually precondition. That was one of my gripes before, was I couldn't go ahead and precondition this manually and say, hey, I'm 35, 40 minutes away, just start preconditioning because I can't, the sat nav, I want to go to a different station or whatever. Now they let you do it, and it does make a big difference. So that's made it a lot easier to be comfortable in this and able to use it every day. So let's talk driver assistance in the Rivian. It's good. It's really good. And I think one of the main reasons it's so good is because it doesn't try to be more than it really needs to be. Tesla's full self-driving isn't, as we all know. But this does everything it really needs to and doesn't do anything it doesn't. So let's give it a shot here. I popped it in highway assist, as they call it, and immediately it centers in the lane. The dash, so the gauge cluster shows a really great view of what's going on, and it shows me everything that I need to know. Like I don't feel like I need to do much more than just keep my hand on the wheel, which is capacitive, by the way. So you don't have to do much more than just rest your hands on it, and it just stays where it needs to be. Now, it's not perfect by any stretch. My main issue with it is if you're going somewhere mountainous, like on the 5 south of Eugene, you're through southern Oregon, a lot of hills, a lot of turns, and it has the auto speed, but one of the issues with the auto speed on this is that it slows down a lot more than it needs to, a lot faster than it should, so it makes that change in speed rather abruptly. And it does it, and while it does stay very confidence-inspiring through the turns, it's that change in speed that's sudden, and then in the exit from the turn, it just kind of steps on it again. It's not as smooth as it really should be. It should be a lot more gradual lead in, and then a gradual acceleration out. What happens is you end up surprising other drivers. They don't expect you to do what you do. And they're like, oh, this person was going to go faster. Oh, they slowed down, and they slowed down more than they expected. And so that can throw people off, and you have to be a little more careful on more windy roads. One of the things that Highway Assist doesn't have is automatic lane changing at this time, as of September 2025. So it doesn't do automatic lane changing, but it does a really good handoff. So if you want to go ahead and merge, like I'm going to do here in just a moment, all you really have to do is turn on your blinker and gradually take over. It will you can do the merge yourself, and then it will re-engage the highway assist. And it does that, and it doesn't overly upset the speed of the vehicle when you do it. So if you want to go into a slightly tight spot like I'm going to do here, it's going to merge over because I'm going to exit at this turn. You'll go in, it's going to adjust speed, It's going to match relatively well, and it's back to engaged. But outside that, it does a great job. And it's the kind of thing that I don't ever really feel like I want to turn it off. I'm very happy to leave it on and just kind of stay there. We've done a lot of road trips in this, as you know, with 29,000 miles on this. We've gone all over the place, and we'll leave it in highway assist most of the drive. And it will happily stay there. Just have the hand on the wheel, relax, and let the car do the driving. That's what an ADAS right now really should be. All right, so wrapping it up, what's it all about? What is this truck really to me? It's the best one. It's everything we could have asked for in a truck, and nothing that we didn't need. We didn't end up needing the max pack. We didn't end up needing off-road tires. We didn't end up needing a bigger bed. We didn't need 3 rows. What we found was everything that we really needed in a truck, and any of the things we thought we'd want, we don't miss them. But then the things that we did get, that we really love, just the performance, the handling, the practicality, the design, just how fun this thing really is as a vehicle. My wife's just happiness driving it every day. Those are things that they're hard to find in such a good package, such a well put together package. And as a first vehicle from a startup automaker, it's incredible. There's a reason why there are so many of these on the road, and there's a reason why I really do firmly believe Rivian is here to stay. They're a great car maker. They're going to make a ton of amazing vehicles. I'm super excited for the R2, and I love the thought of the R3. I think the R3 is going to be an absolute blast. I think it's going to be kind of like finally the true inheritor to the Lancia Delta Integrale for a Group B rally. I think it's going to truly be that, and I can't wait to see it. I think we're at the dawn of a new golden age of the driver's car that's electric, and Rivian's one of the brands paving the way for that. That's really great to be able to say, and that's really great to be able to experience every day. And that's the reason why I'm making this channel, to share with you all what our experience is and what really matters about it. Anyways, so tune in again in another week or two. We're gonna have a couple more videos. There's a couple more you should be watching right up here. We've got a review of the Rivian Sat-Nav after 2.5 years, and also my first drive of the Lucid Gravity. Again, go ahead and subscribe, like, hit that bell icon so you get more videos from us, and leave a comment, talk to me. If you've got questions, you got thoughts, you're trying to think about what to do here. Do you want to get a Rivian R1T? You're looking at an R1S or another EV? Are you not even sure about EVs? Leave a comment, talk to me, go to the community page. Tell me what you're thinking. Happy to answer your questions. We try to respond to every single comment that we can. We really appreciate you being here, and I will catch you all again soon.